Out to the Ball Game arguably inspires the most participatory public singing in the United States. Unlike the Star-Spangled Banner, which is often performed virtuosically in ways that effectively discourage singing along, crowds rise and eagerly sing this 1908 Tin Pan Alley Waltz during every seventh-inning stretch in every ballpark all summer long. Even the most casual baseball fans know the chorus, but relatively few people are aware that there's an introductory verse that poetically and contrapuntally motivates and anticipates the well-known chorus. The verse tells the tale of a baseball-loving gal named Katie Casey and her desire to go to a ball game, rather than on any seemingly more romantic date. Before we hear the verse, I'll make a few analytical comments. This is pretty standard Tin Pan Alley fare, in that it comprises two long sentential phrases. The first ends with an imperfect authentic cadence, the second with a half cadence that feeds directly into the very famous chorus. As you'll hear, each phrase follows the same overall melodic design, focused on the upper four notes of the scale. Both phrases begin by elaborating scale degree 5, then moving slowly up to scale degree 6, then up to scale degree 7, that is, the leading tone. And then, rather than resolving the leading tone, the phrases each backtrack, descending to scale degree 6, and then back down to scale degree 5. Here's a recording of the verse from 1908, the very year the song was composed. The singer is Harvey Hindermeyer, who rolls his R's in wonderfully Victorian fashion.
Katie was baseball mad, had the fever and had it bad, just to root for the hometown through every school. Katie Blue. On a Saturday her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show, but Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do.
The verse's repeated motions up to scale degree 7, the leading tone, seem to prepare us for a resolution up to the high tonic, scale degree 8. But that resolution does not follow. That is, not until the ensuing chorus, where the second note arguably completes the verse's long hinted at ascent.
Saturday her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show, but Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game.
In the verse, one of the things that makes the first phrase's leading tone seem so dramatically unresolved is that the harmonic progression at that point is also very unusual. We move from a dominant 7th chord to a 2/6 chord, an unambiguous retrogression. 5/7 badly wants to move forward to the tonic, or even deceptively to a 6th chord, but the music retreats. When we finally do attain a 5-to-1 harmonic motion at the end of the phrase, we return to standing on scale degree 5 in the melody, a weak, imperfect, authentic cadence. Both phrases feature slightly elongated melodic prolongations of scale degree 6, but in different places. The first one occurs during the descent, the second one during the ascent. This differing placement of the key scale degrees of the ascent and descent is a bit odd, making the consistent 16-bar phrases sound less foursquare than they truly are. To use an apt metaphor, one might regard this verse as a long wind-up before the first pitch. Not only does the verse musically motivate the chorus by twice tantalizing us with that unrequited leading tone, we're also led to the chorus textually. The assonant verse clarifies that the chorus amounts to Katie's request. On a Saturday her young beau called to see if she'd like to go to see a show, but Miss Kate said no. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game. The chorus's opening octave leap, both poetically and musically, answers the verse. But true resolution to the high tonic is withheld until the end. The verse's backtracking melody and Katie's social proclivities presage the song's climactic final line. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game. We hear the high tonic repeated at the 1, 2, 3 count, but each time it's set to unstable harmonies and therefore lacks a sense of resolution. This song concludes by finally moving directly up the scale all the way to the high tonic, supported by the perfect authentic cadence we've heretofore lacked. It's a jubilant ending to this great anticipatory song. Indeed, celebrational and optimistic songs of this vintage, and especially later, often rise to their final authentic cadence.
Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
And now, let me throw a theoretical curveball into this analysis. The music theorist Heinrich Schenker famously suggested that all great music descends by step to achieve ultimate closure. There are various reasons that Schenker and his adherents give for this descent. Among them is the natural force of gravity, of the less stable upper partials falling back down toward their fundamental. My friend Tim Johnson published an analysis of Take Me Out to the Ballgame in 2008, in which he portrayed the song as a failure narrative, artfully correlating the batter striking out with the melody's inability to descend to its proper register, what Schenker called the obligatory register. Personally, I don't think that this song, a relatively stock if wonderful Tin Pan Alley sheet, offers as complex a hidden narrative as Johnson portrays. Does it really fail to achieve its goal? Let's back up a couple of lines. I don't care if I never get back suggests a pretty high degree of satisfaction. And losing? Why, that would merely be a shame, not a tragedy. One more thing. For its 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out says nothing about who is striking out. A less pessimistic reading would have the visiting team striking out to end the game in the top of the 9th inning. A rousing victory indeed. More importantly, however, is the fact that this song is not an outlier. Ending on the high tonic became increasingly common during the late 19th century, especially, as David Neumeyer has shown, in tonal concert and stage music, including operetta and early musical theater. And it became still more commonplace in the mid and late 20th century, to the point where cadential Ascent is now expected in most Broadway songs and in other popular music descendants of Tin Pan Alley. To wit, I found 56 songs composed between 1904 and 1920 by Albert von Tilzer. Of those, 22 clearly ascend to their final tonic note, 28 descend, and 6 could be interpreted either way. Clearly, there's nothing unusual about ascending to the tonic in this repertoire. Schenker, who died in 1935, probably didn't get to too many baseball games, or vaudeville shows in Vienna. Many contemporaneous aspirational and energetic American songs metaphorically gaze upward and ascend to reach their concluding tonic. It's all about setting expectations, really. If you think a song will end low, and it doesn't, it's a failure. Schenker's obligatory register describes that tessitura where the work must end. I like the idea, but not the inflexibility. For Schenker, the obligatory register was always low. For me, it's defined contextually, both based upon the song's topic and also on musical evidence compiled as we listen. The composer of Take Me Out to the Ballgame tells us that it's going to end high. He tells us first in the verse, he tells us again and again in the chorus. Let's listen to the verse and the chorus, this time starting from the second verse lyrics. Feel free to sing along.
Casey saw all the games, knew the players by their first names, told the umpire he was wrong all along, good and strong. When the score was just 2-2, Casey knew what to do. Just to cheer up the boys he knew, she made the gang sing this song. Take me out to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball